Arson Brothers Network presents High, Wide, and Handsome.
Welcome back to High, Wide, and Handsome, a racing podcast right here on the Arson Brothers Network. Down a man tonight, but we're still rolling. I am Mr. Matt Klein, Mr. Jeff Griffith, and Mr. Michael Sizemore here. The good Dr. Sean Allen out tonight. Got the back-to-school blues, I do believe. All that heat and I'll be tied up with work, understandable so. But we're all here and ready to dive into some racing. What a bunch of racing it was everywhere this weekend. But before we get to that, we'll check in with everybody. How's it been going? What's been going on this past week, gentlemen? Size, we'll start with you.
Oh, man, not been doing much other than working this last week. Watch a little racing this weekend, watch some racing up north, watch some racing at the Capitol, watch some racing all over.
Yeah, no doubt. Good week to be a race fan, that's for sure. Jeff, what about you, my man?
Oh, man, I mean, besides work, just beginning to talk about the back-to-school blues, just getting Macy back in school for her senior year, so been doing that, and that's about it, really, man. Just watching, like Si said, watching racing and working. That's about it.
Yeah, I feel that, and no doubt. Pretty much same here. Worked the last week, watched some racing. Kind of the back to school blues as well. I guess you will. We went and helped my wife Megan, sister principal, get some of her office stuff ready over the weekend, things of that nature. And yeah, watched some racing. I had dinner in an old bank over the weekend. I did do that. That was kind of neat. In Milton, West Virginia, I've turned the old bank into a restaurant there. It was pretty cool. The 1880
cool. And there were one of those in it's got like the old bank turned into a restaurant and cigar bar or something.
Oh yeah, I think so actually. Yeah, there is. I've not been there, but I hear good things actually. Yeah. Have to check that one out too. But yeah, this one was neat. Had a fantastic smash burger actually.
Ooh, heck yeah!
Pretty
those
cool.
Pictures you seen, it all looked good, man.
Yeah, it was neat. Cool.
So you going to be able to convince her to steal the racing teacher's gimmick, man? The lady that's on TikTok.
Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah.
All right, well, we do got a ton of racing actually to cover tonight, so I say we roll on to it, and we'll head into the lead lap. All right, we'll kick off the lead lap with the Truck Series at New Hampshire, the Team EJP 175. I still don't know what Team EJP is, but they sponsored this race.
That must mean it wasn't a very good sponsorship on their part, because none of us have no idea what that is.
Well, the track was overwhelmed with Dollar Tree advertisements. Man, they were everywhere. Dollar Tree went real hard on the Cup side of this race. But yeah, I saw there was a little of that Team EJP stuff, but I never did look up what it was. But nonetheless, the race it was, where we saw Layne Riggs win it from the pole, his 6th win of the year, 11th of his career, won in a double overtime, and officially locked himself up as the regular season champion and the number 1 seed headed into the chase. Is anyone going to be able to touch the 34 in the chase?
Man, that Layne train's rolling hard. I don't think... because we've talked a lot, a lot of who wins the championship depends on who gets hot at the right time. And it seems like Layne has just been a guy who's gotten hot all over the season. Like, he's not cooled down. He continuously stays as a, contender there or a winner at the races. So I don't see it happening now. If he hadn't cooled down at all throughout the first, entire regular season, I don't see him dropping off into the playoffs.
Yeah.
No, I kind of agree, man. I mean, we've said it numerous times, but his season is very close. I mean, it's reminding me more and more of Heim's season last year. I mean, he's just dominant. I mean, Caden at times has had stuff for him, and Caden at times kept close with him, but Caden never really feels like the same threat to just win every race that Layne does. And he's done it on every type of course this year. I mean, it's not like he's just a one kind, I mean, so no matter what they throw at him, I think he's going to run okay.
Yeah. And Caden's had an amazing season. I'm not taking anything away from the season Caden's had. Like any other season, I would say Caden's the favorite to win the championship, but just Layne has not been bad at any point in the season. Like there's no point in this season, early in the season, Joey Logano in the Cup Series, Joey Logano was garbage, and now he's hot. Early in the season, Tyler Reddick was lights out, and now he's dropping off there. So that's not happened in the Cup Series. Layne has been just consistently, and in the Xfinity Series, same thing you can say about Allgaier. Both of those lower series, the two guys are definitely the front runners there to win.
Yeah, I agree with absolutely all that. Layne just an incredible season. It almost goes understated. I feel like we were talking much more about Heim's season at this point in the year, and Heimstadt's a little bit more so, I feel like, dominant, but I mean, not by a ton. I feel like it's a little overshadowed what a dominant year he's actually having. It's quite impressive. And we've talked about Honeycutt getting up there. I think Honeycutt has the potential to have a season like this himself next year, potentially, although it sounds like Layne's going to be back there against him. So what can Layne do another year under his banner too? That may be interesting as well. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think Layne is, you have to say he is the favorite heading into the chase for sure. Although the great reset's happening. I mean, you get that reset, you're down to just a 25-point lead. You go out, something happens for a race or two, a lot can change. But as y'all just said, there's no implications that the 34's going to have. And they've overcome some issues several times on track and in the pits and different things. Like they're a team that can prove they can overcome stuff too, I feel like.
And this new, this first year in the chase style playoffs there, it's going to, I think this system's going to reward a driver like that. Last year we saw in Xfinity with Zillich, who had a season similar where he was just dominant, and then one bad move on a racetrack cost him that championship. So, this year we won't see anything like that. So I definitely think, with the system currently in place, that Layne is hands down the favorite to win the truck championship.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's going to be fun to watch either way it goes, but Layne might go on an absolute dominant. Continue that, it's going to be a dominant chase, and that's kind of fun to look at too.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the other end of the chase spectrum, the bubble battle. It was a big battle all day between for that 10th and final spot with Stewart Friesen and Tyler Ankrum. Friesen kind of threw a Hail Mary, stayed out on late caution on lap 174 to get some track position. Ended up finishing 4th, but still wasn't enough. Ankrum ended up 16th, held on to the final chase spot by just 7 points.
Yeah.
Anything else Friesen could have done, or?
I mean, maybe if he would have got back there where he could have passed some more cars to get points.
Yeah.
I mean, just staying up front, he didn't have as many options to pass him, so that kind of hurt him, I think. But, I guess he was going for the stage points. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the difference could have been. But it was real exciting to watch there at the end. I thought that was cool. Kind of like the playoff bubble playing out. Like, it was literally playing out right in front of us there. That was pretty cool.
I mean, Stewart Friesen could have put a bounty out for somebody to cause a wreck there and take the competition out of the race. Other than that, no. The man gave it his all. He tried his best, and, he just came short, and it's going to happen like that sometimes. You're just not going to get over that bump. And I hate it because I like him a lot more than I like Tyler, but what you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think the what if could have done different comes back in the season. What could you have done different throughout some point? I think he definitely gave it all he could. And I'm like you, what he needed was Ankrum to fall off and not finish where he did, finish further back, and that's kind of out of his control, without barring taking him plumb out, of course. So yeah, and I thought it created, as Jeff said, created a fun situation to watch in this Truck Series regular season finale. But I thought that was pretty cool, and we're going to get a taste of it on the Cup side next weekend for sure.
I think the best thing that Stewart Friesen could have hoped was that Tyler Ankrum would have been racing a little bit more around John Hunter Nemechek.
Dude, John Hunter Nemechek was he did everything but the pace car, I believe. He wasn't much better Sunday. Man, John Hunter, that is... Anytime John Hunter gets a fast ride, he just runs into things, and it seems like. I feel like John Hunter's been quick for a long time. I mean, we saw him win races in the Ender Series, but it just seems like he overdrives so much. And we've had that conversation now for a decade, and we're still having it.
Yeah. Yeah, this week, Timmy Hill got to be a part of the John Hunter experience. Who else was that? Was it Landon got into it with him?
Yeah, him and Landon into it pretty big, actually.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just, seems like it's an every week thing, man.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know what more you can say. It really does. Talk about Connor Zillich in this race. Showed up that 71 truck, swept stage 1 and 2, ended up finishing 5th. Did the HMS announcement give him a little turbo boost in this weekend? I don't know. We certainly saw quite the turn of affairs in the Cup race for Zillich, which we'll get to that. But
yeah. Yeah.
He made a big impact in the Cup Series.
Yeah,
a powerful impact.
Indeed, quite the impact. Talked last week about Tristan McKee make his truck debut and that huge win we talked about last week in the late model race, but backed it up in his second Truck Series start with a 6th place finish. Man, the 16-year-old just continues to impress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they got something there with that kid.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like it's going to be fun to watch all that play out over the next few years.
Agreed, man.
The chase field officially set. Field of 10 headed into the championship. We'll run them down real quick. Layne Riggs, of course, seated at 1. Caden Honeycutt, Chandler Smith, Christian Eckes, Gio Ruggiero, Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, Daniel Hemrick, Ben Rhodes, and last, as we said, Tyler Ankrum. So, solid lineup there. I think it is going to be fun to watch play out. As I said, it certainly seems like Layne's going to be the one to beat, but a lot can change real quick.
That's for sure. So let me ask you guys. I mean, we all know we all expect that it's either going to be Layne, most likely, or a dark horse, Caden Honeycutt. That's like who I think most people expect.
Right.
If you take those two names out of the mix, who do you think's the most likely to pull a championship run here? If it wasn't for those two.
I think on speed, you got to say Chandler Smith, but they seem to not be able to overcome issues on track, various issues each race. But I feel like they have as much speed as Layne does almost every week and just can't pull it together with those finishes. So, yeah, I guess my darker horse would have to be Chandler.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Chandler's a good choice. I think they have had fast trucks. I think Ben Rhodes, maybe the guy there, kind of a little bit of a veteran, been there before. I don't know. I really, other than the two, I think that anybody, it's kind of a crapshoot. We've just seen so much dominance throughout the series with Layne and Honeycutt. So maybe Gio, just because I like his name.
That's what Gio would be my dark horse pick, man. I don't know. I see flashes of really good in him, man. And I mean, sometimes the decisions are not the best, but and sometimes his temper seems like it might get a little bit of him. But overall, I think Gio's got something there, man.
Also, I mean, imagine saying champion Gio Ruggiero. Be fun, right?
Yeah, I like it.
Well, I think besides what I said, for me, the other two to look at would be kind of, as I said, the veterans. Rhodes a little far out for me in 9th, but Majeski sitting in 6th is definitely a threat. Can sneak in there, especially if you get some short tracks in lay. And Grant Enfinger, that team has really been coming on over about the last month, the last 6 weeks. If you watch, speed is growing in that team, and who knows, they might pull out something. So it's going to be interesting to watch. I can't wait, actually. I'm so far loving this revitalized chase format. We talked about that a lot last week, but I am real excited for the actual chase to begin, and the trucker is the first one to lock it in.
Absolutely, man.
All right, the truck chase is set. Now let's move into the heavy hitters and talk about some Cup Series action. All right, before we get into that red hot Cup action, we're going to look at some breaking news coming out just today. Recording this on Monday the 24th. You'll be watching this a little later. But confirmed by Richard Childress Racing, Austin Hill officially announced as a full-time driver of the number 33 Chevrolet in the Cup Series for 2027. We heard a lot of this at first, that this was pretty much the plan. A little bit of late that they were looking at potentially Josh Berry. But I guess they wanted to squash those rumors as they locked it down today for Austin Hill. What do you guys think?
I'll let you go first.
You know what? I'm going to actually say I like it. I don't like Big Country. Don't really like Richard Childress. But they're perfect for each other. One. Also, the one thing I do like about Richard Childress is the man respects loyalty. And Austin has been 100% loyal to Richard Childress Racing. You know, he's been with the Xfinity O'Reilly program for a long time. Got some wins down there. He deserves it. He earned his chance to be in a Cup car. So, yeah, I think it's a good signing, and I think that's who should be in that car. I know, Barry's got wins in Cup Series. I know there's other guys they could have looked at who may have brought more to the program, but I think rewarding a driver who's stuck with your program for as long as Austin has is good. I think it's what you should do.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, I can't really disagree with that. He's got 16 wins for them in the O'Reilly series. He's been hanging out there for several years, and a lot of people asking when his shot at the Cup going on. As my personal fandom, I was hoping we was going to hear Barry announcing that, but I don't really disagree with you. It is a sign of loyalty, and he's done a pretty decent job to fill in, and especially, I mean, it's quite the heavy situation for a fill-in role, regardless of your feelings for Austin Hill, and he's done a solid job. He's being quiet in that car and nothing overachieving, but not underachieving. That's really what you want in a season kind of like this, in my opinion. So, I don't disagree with you there, Silas.
I mean, other than his SVG escapades, he's not a guy, we hear a lot about causing trouble, getting in wrecks, making bad decisions on the track. And honestly, he's not ran much worse than Kyle Busch did in that car. I mean, he's gotten quite a bit out of it for a driver who definitely not at the level of Kyle Busch. He's still gotten some, decent stuff out of that car.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hear what you guys are saying, and kind of, I guess, maybe swayed me a little bit more positive on it. But my initial reaction, I've just heard this right before we went on the air. You told me, Matt. And my initial thought was just when it comes to Richard Childress Racing and that kitchen, man, there's too many cooks named Austin and not enough berries. So that was my initial reaction. And, maybe I'll warm to it. I don't know. But I'll never warm to Austin Hill, I don't think. But maybe I'll warm to the decision more. Especially if Barry can land on his feet somewhere else. Especially after what he's went out and shown the past few weeks. Barry needs a ride somewhere, man. He can produce for somebody. And he's shown that just the last 4 weeks alone. I mean, that's a driver that deserves a Cup ride.
I mean, I'm not saying that Barry doesn't deserve a Cup ride. I just think that in this one situation, rewarding loyalty over bringing in a driver who you think might actually get more out of the car, I think rewarding the loyalty is the respectable move. Not that I'm never going to cheer for the 33 with Austin Hill, and I'm not saying that. Hell, I didn't cheer for the 8 car before it was the 33. Except for when Reddick was there, but it's just a guy gives you his all, a guy gives yours to you, a guy gives your program wins in the lower series, and an opening comes up in the premier series of American stock car racing. Give that guy his ride. Give him his chance.
And I do agree. He has been mostly quiet since getting called up. He hasn't been quite the lightning rod that I was afraid he would be. I still don't trust it, though. I think you give him a full season next year, and he's going to be back to being full-blown terrorism mode.
Yeah, you
I
too.
just have a bad feeling about it.
Your two Austin Hill could be entirely different for sure. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Begs the question. I mean, it's already been asked, but now officially been asked, who gets the 21 in the O'Reilly side? Is that somewhere? If they were looking at Barry, they could throw him down there. That's something.
Yeah,
it'd be a fast O'Reilly car.
There. Yeah, he would. I mean, we've already seen. Well, he was in the best equipment when he was last time he was in that series with the junior motorsports car, but the RCR O'Reilly equipment is a different story than RCR Cup equipment. So you're still getting some great equipment in that series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely second best Chevrolet team, and I mean they beat them for the championship last year. So I mean, argument of that, but I mean, you're right off from those cars that Barry was used to being in that series. So that would be something of interest. I've not heard anything about that. I just that announcement and the Barry rumors made me think of that, of course.
I mean, if you look at that as a two-car team there in the O'Reilly series next year, I mean Chandler Smith and Josh Berry, that could be a pretty good little combo.
Yeah, definitely so. All right, we'll move from the breaking news and to the Cup Series at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the Dollar Tree 301. Mother Nature tried to ruin the party, but we ended up with a wild one as we started this one on wet weather tires. Looked like we were going to start in a lot more rain, potentially even a heavy rain shower start, until Carson Hocevar ruined it for everyone as he spun out in the heavy rains, and then NASCAR and everyone took a little better look, saying we better wait a bit. But we did nonetheless end up starting on those rain tires in some wet conditions. SVG looked crazy fast on that wet condition. We saw a touch of that Bowman Gray, but he looked like he was going to be something to do. But then come time for the rain tires to come off, and the problem for me, at least, and we'll get everyone's opinion, but with the rain tire, I love the rain package. You heard me here last week on this show saying I hope we got it, but we don't need to police it as we're doing and throw a competition caution, if you will, a non-competitive pit stops changing into the dry tires. I thought that was just and we've saw it before, but I hate that. I thought this might be the time that we finally just let the crew chiefs, the teams, the drivers police themselves, much like we see in other series as rain tires, but no, it was not to be. I hate that. It makes it puts a huge damper on when we get the rain tire package for me. What do you guys think of it?
I absolutely hated it too, Matt. I think it took everything that was cool about starting with those rain tires and it made it uncool.
Yeah.
And it was like I was so pumped about it, and then once that happened, I was like, it took me a minute to get back into the race after that, but then I did. I thought the race ended up being quite fun, but that was a little bit of a damper there midway through stage one.
Yeah.
Well, I can't comment on this race because I was watching, the IndyCar race, and by the time it was over, I switched over. They were already on the regular slicks. But in general, I hate it. In general, I think it's stupid. I think you are taking away an advantage a team could have, a crew chief could have, and you're just shutting that down. Like, the crew chief's job is to strategize, to pick out how his team's going to run the race. If you think that you can get a couple more positions by going in early and getting the slicks, then you should be able to do that. If you think that you can get a better finish on a stage by staying out on rain tires longer than everybody else, then you should do that. You shouldn't have NASCAR dictating when you have to switch these things.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, I get it. Maybe the first few times we saw this, like trying things out, I understand, but we've seen it numerous times now. We saw it on ovals a few times now. Like, we're far enough removed that we gotta revamp this if we're going to continue. And it seems like we are. They're testing wet weather tires at 1.5 miles, which I'm down for. I want to see it, but we got to figure out how to not dead stop the show and have non-competitive pit stops. Like, it's not good. It looks like the ARCA series.
Yeah. It really, that's a very good comparison. You're right.
So, Nonetheless, we got back out in the drives and we saw Mr. Ryan Blaney made a late charge, taking 2 tires at the final stop, held off the field for his 20th career win and back-to-back New Hampshire wins for Blaney. Third win of the year. Is the 12 team moving into that favorite position headed into the chase now?
Hey, I mean, if you go back to the very first episode before the season started, when you asked who I thought was going to win the championship, when we were all saying, I said Blaney, and I still think that. I think Blaney's going to win the championship this year.
There you go.
I honestly don't think anybody's in the favored position in the Cup Series. There's nobody. I mean, in the lower series, there's guys I can say, yeah, these guys are most likely going to win it. In the Cup Series, I couldn't tell you. I don't think. I mean, Denny's up there in points. Blaney's up there in points. Gibbs is up there in points. It's just, these guys have shuffled between, 1, 2, and 3 so many times. I don't know who, you say is the favorite overall to win the Cup championship.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I still really think if you say there is a favorite, you still, and especially if you look at the tracks in the chase, you probably got to say Denny. But, I mean, as we saw, it seems like every week or every couple of weeks we're talking about somebody getting hot and going on a run. When the Great Reset, the chase happens, if you do that, you're in a whole different situation here, especially the early part of the chase. So, yeah, I kind of agree. I don't know if there is a favorite added into it. And I think that's great for us as fans, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I do think, and I've thought this from the beginning, man, I know they say mathematically they've ran it through every possible, this and that, and they're basically, I think they've blocked it down to, like, if you're out in the top 6, you don't really have a chance. I don't really believe that, man. I think like pretty much anybody in there can get hot and win. And I don't.
Sorry, not to cut. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, I was just saying, man. I definitely think you're more favorable to win if you're up there, but I'm not saying that I don't. I think that people have more of a chance that aren't in that top 6 than they think they do.
Yeah, I think anywhere in the top 10 definitely can make a run. Potentially, maybe even 12th. I think for 12th on back, you're gonna have a lot of help. A lot of dudes having some bad times, but it's possible. But yeah, I think
that's kind of where I'm at. I'm more of like a top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Shane Van Gisberg's winning the championship. I'm glad, assuming he makes it. Prix is knocking on the door. We saw Prix gain some huge ground this weekend, but I don't think that's going to happen. Love to see it. I think it'd be cool as heck to see, a guy come from supercars and come over here and win a championship. But going in at the number 16, I really don't think you're going to end the season as NASCAR Cup champion. But, yeah, I think, those top 10 guys, I mean, you've got guys that could win 2-3 races during the chase, and I don't know how you count that out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. That all begs the question we've heard. We know Dale Jr. definitely. He thinks 16 is too many for the chase. He would like to see 10 or maybe 12 instead of that. Make it much more prestigious, much more elite is the argument. So what do you guys think of that? Is 16 too many?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine with 16 as long as you accept that you're not going to win the championship. I think it's kind of like, the guys 11 through 16. I think, the fact that they made the playoffs is something that they can be proud of, something that the owners of their teams can be proud of, something their sponsors can, use, or something the teams can use to draw in more sponsors, saying, we are a chase contender team technically. So I think that's good for the teams. Just top 10, you just got to be realistic, are the only ones that could win it.
I think I lean closer to I think just 10 makes more sense, but I get what you're saying. And like the fact that, I mean, honestly, like one of my favorite drivers is fighting for a chance to be in that right now, and I'm dying for him to get into it, even though I don't think that that's really he's even going to have a chance once he gets in. If he does with Prix, that's good for RFK. That, like you said, that's good for Kroger. That's good for all the sponsors. But yeah, I think 10 probably makes more sense.
Yeah. Now with the previous system, I thought you could have expanded it out even further, because you have, if you win in that first group of rounds, you advance. If you win in that second group of rounds, you advance. But, now that there's not, these breakdowns where you're advancing with a, win or by having the most points. Yeah, I mean, 16 may be overdoing it, but I'm just happy for those guys who are getting to say they are, chase contenders.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with everything Si says there, I think, and especially in a time that seemingly and apparently sponsorship at the NASCAR level is more difficult for the teams to get than at least in previous decades or what have you. So, I mean, I do think little things like that helps. I would like to see it, though, personally, cut down. I think 12 would be a decent round number, but 10 would be even optimal for me, only because, as we've heard Junior say in his show, but that is the elite. At that point, anybody can literally go in and win the championship. Like, if you're in, you got a legit big shot at winning. And I think that would be fun to see play out over 10 races. I do get it, though, with the 16, and I'm not against it, if you will. I think it's a little bit residual from the playoff era, though, is how we got to that 16. So I don't know. I think we could look at a 12 being a medium of the two, which is kind of what this new chase is anyway. So we'll see, but I don't feel like they're going to touch the point system for a bit anyway. So don't.
No. And I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'm just happy they made the change they did, and we're getting this. And I mean,
yeah.
Any complaints I have about this are like very minor because, like, at the end of the day, I'm just happy with this format. I'm happy with what we're getting. I'm happy with the excitement that it's providing in all the series, and I'm cool with it, man. So,
yes.
Like I said, any complaints I have are just minimal BS complaints, really.
Yeah.
I also think the 16 kind of helps with people who aren't NASCAR diehard fans, people who not even casual fans, like just a guy who knows about racing and maybe has watched one or two races in his entire life, and you're talking about somebody like Daniel Suarez, and they're like, "Well, is he even any good?" And you're like, "Well, he's not on the elite end of drivers, but he's made the chase the last 2 years or something like that." Kind of gives you a balancing mark there to explain whether a driver is a chase contender or Cody Ware.
Yeah, I get that argument for sure. Definitely lots to look at. Glad I'm not in charge of making those decisions because a lot kind of for either way there, really. But ultimately, I'm like Jeff. Glad we're back to some version of this format, and it's been really fun. So I'm not knocking, but it does beg the question to talk about that and have those discussions for sure. Back to New Hampshire, we got to talk about. We have a little bit. Josh Berry, just another great run. First stint of 4 top 10s in a row for the Wood brothers. So I think it's 1994 and Morgan Shepherd. That's wild. I would have thought Blaney in that 21, when he had some success there, would have had a string of 4 in a row, but I guess not. So, man, what a way to blow out the door or go on your way out, man.
I mean, that's the way to do it. Go out with a bang. Maybe somebody else will be right there ready to pick you up.
Yeah.
And I actually love the fact that, like, yesterday we were getting aggressive, Barry, man.
Yeah.
It was like a completely different driver out there almost at times. I love it.
More than willing to give Bubba the bumper there a few times to get that position.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it helps Barry land somewhere decent in one of the 2 series. I mean, obviously in the Cup Series, but it's just, I don't know where that would be at this point in the Cup Series.
No, not a lot.
Maybe Trackhouse when SVG leaves.
No, maybe that when they say off to Junior Motorsports. We talked about Bubba, massive run. Needed that. Nearly locked himself into the chase. He needs, I think, 2 points will lock him in. So basically, you go out there and gets a couple stage points first thing at Daytona, and you don't got to worry about it. But huge second place run. And
we have seen his teammate wreck within the first lap at least twice within the last month.
Yeah.
So,
yes, we have.
Maybe not locked in.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that. As soon as we went green, Reddick on the wet tires immediately spun. Ended up fighting back to finish 8th. It seemed like it took him all day to get back up there, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we saw like just a lot of wild stuff yesterday. Between that, like you said, the Carson multiple spin outs and crash outs.
Yeah.
William Byron between going out on the stage with the wedge wrench still in his, back on the track with his with that still in there, then losing his tire. It was just like a lot of wild stuff happening yesterday, man.
Connor crashing through Riley like a freight train.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about.
I keep seeing people saying that Carson and that Connor was like that he ARCA stopped.
Yeah,
I was like, that's pretty
ARCA
funny.
breaks. Hashtag
ARCA
ARCA breaks. We'll talk about all that, Carson and Connor. We'll talk first about the incident with them. Connor looked like to me came up a little bit coming out of the corner, got into Carson. Nothing really that out of the normal for New Hampshire. We see that quite a bit. We saw it a ton yesterday. Seemingly, Carson took great exception, turned left, trying to, I guess, yeet into Connor. I mean, I don't know for sure. Wrecked himself. Connor said on the radio, wrecked himself. Saw him later kind of take another shot at him. He didn't get. Of course, Carson spun going to that. Carson's later spun now. I don't know if you guys have saw this. A lot of controversy on that last spin. They stayed out, took the wave around, then in about 10 laps, Carson spun out suddenly, which left him to stay out and get his lap back in a kind of incidental way. Apparently, there's been a couple times before Carson's done this. It's getting really dissected on NASCAR Online. Yeah, the itchy arm question, if you will. Yeah, if you go back and watch some, there's some in-car cameras going around, some other drivers calling it out, saying what happened there. So that's going to be interesting to watch if we hear anything of NASCAR. I don't think we'll see a penalty, but I could see NASCAR having a discussion to basically knock that off. We'll see. That's something that's going to be to watch this week, though. But
getting the call to the hauler over that one, huh?
Yeah. But Zillich...
Yeah, Carson's been... interesting. I was just going to say, it's like, I feel like this last month we talk about Tyler. I feel like Carson's kind of like blew up the last month too, man.
Well, as soon as he got to 15 points and got a girlfriend, the man imploded, it seems like.
He
can't handle it.
The entire great first half of the season for Carson was just to get him a lady friend, and now he's like, all right, whatever.
I think so, man. Oh my gosh, that is definitely what it seems like.
Yeah.
Really, Spire's a hold down though. Suarez has fallen off a good bit from where he was as well. They got some work to do heading into the chase for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, Zillich, seemingly as Jeff said with the ARCA brake situation. I don't know. I did see finally the in-car today. The spotter is literally saying from the moment he gets there, car crashed ahead, go low, go low, go low. Yes, he does locks the brake up, but he also kind of just went high. I don't know. That was a very odd situation. He just plowed right into him.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out, man. I was like, what does he do? I don't really, I mean, I wasn't behind that wheel, so I can't really say, but it didn't really make sense to me why he went up the track like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he locked his brakes up and that did lose some control, but I don't know. The in-car looks a little more confusing, I'll say, of it. I don't know. That was an odd one. Connor?
I haven't seen the in-car. I just, from what I saw during the broadcast, I mean, I just assumed that he locked the brakes up and that pulled him up the track and into the other car, but who knows? I don't know. I haven't seen a good replay of him, what was happening in the car.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was it. It's just some odd choices even heading into that situation where he locked up. I don't know. Connor got... I think he's still got a long way to go in the Cup Series, I'm going to be honest with you.
I kind of agree with you, man. I'm like, I don't know. I just wonder, I mean, I know it sounds crazy to say after the year that he had last year and, just the hype that he had coming in, but there's a part of me that has to wonder, is he really ready for that Hendrick situation?
Well, ready or not, here he comes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to, by the time he goes into that Hendrick car, be in a lot better situation, even if they have another horrible year next year in the Trackhouse program, which, I mean, they may not. I'm not saying that. But even if they do, he's still going to be in a better situation or learned more going into that 48. And he's so young. Like, ultimately, if no one gives up on him, and seemingly now with that Hendrick contract, no one's giving up on him, he's going to at least eventually be okay, but I do think he's further off in the Cup side than anyone would have expected him to be at this point, over halfway through his rookie season.
But we see that a lot with these, O'Reilly Wonder kids. I mean, we saw it with Ty Gibbs. Some NASCAR pundits claimed that guy would only win one race in his entire life. And then now we're looking at him as a potential winner for the championship this year. And but those first 4 or 5 seasons, before he got that win, there was a lot of people saying he's going to be a bust. That he was rushed up too quick because of his last name, given a ride that he didn't deserve, and he couldn't do anything with it. And now it's looking like, after that little bit of experience, that time behind the wheel, he may actually deserve that car.
It seems like, and you hear it said, it seems like on the Cup side it takes around 100 starts. I think Ty Gibbs was around 120, broke through for that first win at Bristol. That may be true. The problem of recent is Corey Haim has absolutely shattered that glass ceiling and makes everyone else look that much worse, and that's just the truth of it. So, I mean, props to Haim for doing that, but I think it's lit a candle under a lot of these young guys' butts, if you will, saying, why is that performance not there?
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, within the last few years, or a couple of years, even we've seen guys like Haim who win, within their first 10 start. What was it, 6 weeks, or was it before that?
2 within 15. I don't remember the exact numbers.
But so we see that. We see Shane Van Gisbergen come over and win his very first NASCAR start. I mean, these are things that have happened before, but it's not something that we saw a lot of. Like, growing up, I don't remember seeing it maybe once or twice. And now we've seen stuff like it happen twice, at least within the last 2 years. And it gives an impression that if you're not winning in a Cup car within your first season or within your second season, that you're a bust. And traditionally in the sport, that's never been the case. But now with just some of these guys coming in being so good when they first get in that ride, it's giving people who aren't, long-term dedicated fans an impression that guys can't drive if they're not winning as soon as they get up there.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I think we keep pushing younger and younger, but I feel like that trend's going to go away, actually. And I feel like some of this is going to be part of the reasoning why. Although, I mean, there is a crazy crop of young talent, but it seems like we're pushing these guys up awful quick. And now we see Haim waiting a bit. I heard on last week's Gluckcast, I guess is what he calls that Thursday show, but the front row president was on there and talking about Layne, and he's like, well, we're not in a super hurry for Layne, and Layne, to be honest with you, is not in a super hurry either. He's looked at what Haim did, stayed around, learned a lot, and in a much better position when he does want to make that move. So I don't know that Haim don't end up changing that mold. And I've said for a bit, I think that super young is going to kind of cycle around. So we'll see how that plays out over the next 5-10 years. It doesn't cycle. It'd be interesting.
Well, I do think it's inevitable that you're going to see a lot of guys get called up too early because of all this, and you're going to see a lot of guys that are, as we say, a bust. And not all of them will actually be busts, but some of them will. But I think there'll probably be a lot of buyer's remorse on a lot of teams, and they'll start looking at other options.
And this is probably my favorite team in the Cup Series because of, the local roots and everything. I absolutely love Wood Brothers, but they are the worst at perpetuating this. Matt DiBenedetto, right there on the cusp of getting that win, doing well for him, out the door. Harrison Burton gets a win for him, doesn't fare that well other than the one win, but out the door. Josh Berry gets a win for him, has up and down seasons, out the door. And I don't know if this is coming down from Penske because they just want to keep finding that young guy that's going to hit immediately that they can pull up into Team Penske, or if it's something internally within Wood Brothers. But that's what's killing it. You're not giving these guys any time to mature behind the wheel and get to that point where they can be a serviceable driver for many years for your program.
Yeah,
I agree. I am very curious to see how Jesse Love performs in that car next year, because I am not convinced, if I'm being honest. I'm not convinced that he's quite the right move for them. We'll see. Nothing against Jesse. I just don't know that he's that guy yet. We'll see.
Well, a few races, Cup races he started on that RCR side, he struggled mightily, which, I mean, is to be expected of a young driver coming in, but I don't see him having a better season than Barry overall this year, and that's really speaking probably before this 4 top 10 run. I definitely don't now.
Yeah.
Now, does that build for your future more? Yes, potentially, but Asai's just said they don't keep anyone around enough to build for a future, so I don't know if it matters. We'll talk actually about that. I mentioned front row. We'll talk about the Cup size. They had a pretty good day. Noah Gregson ended up 10th. His first good run in a long while this year, and Zane Smith right there in 13th. We see flashes of this Ford camp getting better and better, and this was one of those flashes here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, I thought pretty much all the Ford teams looked pretty good yesterday at various times. And, front row is a team that they feel like they're on the cusp of, like, getting to, like, a little bit a next level. I don't know what that level is, but a next level of some degree. And I enjoy watching all those guys, man.
Yeah, Ford's looked good yesterday. I mean, of course, Blaney, obviously. Joey drove up from the back for a decent finish. Prix had fighting for his life to get into that chase, had a great finish. Kozlowski didn't do all that great, I don't think. I don't remember where Cindric finished.
I think he was top 15.
He is 12th, yeah.
12th. Not horrible,
yeah. And we'll use that transition to that Cutline and Prix as the Daytona regular season finale next week. And we saw it looked like Prix was poised for a top 5 to me. Like, he had a really great day, but ended up slipping there kind of late to 9th. Sits 31 points now below, gained a little. SVG, it looked like SVG was going to have a monster day at one point, and this would be a whole different story. He was so fast early and qualified good, but fell off. But now with that 31 points, like, we definitely got a battle heading into Daytona. This one's going to be a fun one to watch.
Well, you know what the difference between 31 and 6 is? A berth in the chase. And he would be down by 6 if it hadn't been for a phantom call from NASCAR earlier in the season.
Yeah.
But regardless, man, I think there's probably going to be a lot of RFK fans and a lot of Ryan Prix fans that's going to bring that up a lot. And let it be known, everybody that watches this show at this point knows I'm a huge RFK fan. I'm a huge Ryan Prix fan, Busher. I love all those guys. I'm not going to say that would make all the difference, though, because you also have to factor in the fact earlier in the season, RFK were running really hot, all 3 cars. They've had a down summer. There's things that they could have did to mitigate this before now. And I'm just saying, I hope he gets in, and I hope he can pull something off this weekend at Daytona. He does not have a great average finish at Daytona. That's worth noting.
No.
But they shouldn't have been in this situation to begin with. All 3 of those guys were above the cut line well into the season until the summer started, and the program for some reason ran into a lot of trouble, and they've had a really off summer. And like I said, it might be too little too late now, man. I got a lot of hope for Busher still. He'll be fine. Yeah. Busher finds a way to make himself fine. He's just a consummate grinder. But Prix should have never dropped to where he's at to begin with, regardless of that penalty.
Hey, and look, we know how NASCAR works. If you do the crime, shut your mouth. Don't talk about it. Prix should know, if you do the crime, shut your mouth. Don't talk about it.
I do love that he has the merch now that's just like the shirts that say "Don't push the button."
Yeah, I like that he leaned into it. Yeah, it's going to be fun, though. I think, we saw SVG run decent at these drafting tracks.
Yeah.
We also, I think Prix has potential to run decent at them. We saw that, but gotta finish. Prix finds a way to astronaut himself out of Daytona two-way too often.
And at these super speedways, I mean, you never know who's going to DNF.
Yeah.
No.
Heck, Priest and SVG could both DNF.
And I mean, worth noting, well, we said Bubba most likely going to lock himself in early. Cindric, though, not fully locked in, probably going to happen. And on the outside of that, Keselowski and Ross Chastain mathematically could still get in. But I mean, all of those, mostly it's going to be SVG and Priest, but there are wild card situations. Yeah. And Daytona is the ultimate potential wild card, so who knows?
Yeah. Brad Keselowski, good driver on the super speedways traditionally.
Oh yeah,
win both stages and win the race.
Oh yeah, Brad. 6 car shows up with a good car. Brad's definitely a threat at any drafting track. I mean, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
Gonna be fun though. I'm looking forward to Saturday night under the lights at Daytona.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome, man. You did mention poor old Ross Chastain. I felt so bad for him yesterday, man.
Yeah.
I really did. I felt genuinely bad for him. He just got took out of the whole equation almost, it felt like. But
and nothing of his own. Yeah, mechanical issues sent them out early, and I mean, just nothing you can do there. Just watch it roll by, and that's what he did to his chase dreams, or at least most likely. I said he's got a huge outside shot, but it's very, very unlikely.
Cross the Amigo, I got no sympathy for you. Glad he's out of the chase. Glad.
Size, I forgot Size turned on Ross this year.
But did you guys get a chance to catch the racing with the boys with Justin Marks and Ross Chastain?
I did not. I read a little bit about some of that transcript as far as Ross taking a roll. I don't know. I thought it was all kind of stupid, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. But apparently he was saying he pulled the fire alarm and was speaking up. And I mean, honestly, yesterday I was like, man, if they pulled the fire alarm, that place is already burning down. The fire department was out for lunch and they didn't come because, I mean, honestly, I even thought it kind of looked bad yesterday. Just the fact that SVG on those rain tires, when he had that advantage and it was driver skill.
Yeah.
I mean, he was up there leading, but the minute it went on slicks and it was a little bit more traditional, he just dropped right off, man.
Yeah.
And Connor was running up there pretty good on those rain tires.
Yeah.
And the same thing, both of them just kind of dropped off the minute it was a, more traditional. And I can't help but think that was the driver skill showing off a little bit when it was the rain tires and, technical driving. But the moment that it got to that, the speed just wasn't there.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Trackhouse got a lot of work to do headed into the next season for sure. And keep their old program together, it looks like.
Yeah.
All right, before we get out of the lead lap, we'll take a quick look at our fantasy league, and I will just say it was a horrible weekend. As I got absolutely decimated. I came in the points leader, but man, last on the day with 162 points. We'll give a shout out to the crew chief, Kendall with a win, but Sean nipping right on his heels. That battle between them for second tightened up, and now tightened up the world for the lead, and then stuck in the middle with you two, Jeff in third, Size in fourth, and then bringing up the rear in the overall standings.
Yeah. I can't catch up on Jeff. Each week I think, all right, I'm going to get a few points on him. And each week he still manages to get like 60 points more than I do. I got to figure out what he's doing here. Something's wrong.
I'm keeping you in that dirty air, man.
Yeah, I know. That's it.
Arrow blocking the hell out of you, dude.
That's all right. Once the chase starts, I'm giving him the bumper. I'm going around.
That's what you got to do.
He's either going to move or get ran over.
Man, I thought I was screwed, to be honest, yesterday, because I did have I had Ross Chastain and I had Tyler Reddick in my starting lineup, and then I took Ross. I'm sorry, I was at work, so I couldn't watch the race live, but I did look. I tried to just look at the race tracker to kind of see if any of my picks have fell off or anything, and that way I don't spoil it for myself when I get home and watch it. I looked and I saw I had Tyler Reddick, And I looked, and all of a sudden, he was at the very end of he was like at last place, and I was like, oh no. So I just made a quick move and switched him out. And luckily I did that, but then when I watched the race, I realized, like, oh, well, Ross is gone too, so I'm screwed either way. So I'm shocked that I was able to finish ahead of you this week, man.
Well, if those dang Chevys could keep their tires on, then it would have been a lot better.
Oh, I had
Byron killed me.
Yeah, Byron hurt me actually as well. Well, fun to watch your two battle, and I'm trying to hold out for the leads. We head into the chase 1 week for the chase. Daytona could be big swings on any of this though, because so much can happen. But fun stuff if you're not playing the NASCAR Fantasy. I mean, I guess maybe a little late to do it this year. Although you could jump in and have a fun little chase program with it, probably. So yeah, look at that NASCAR Fantasy through them at NASCAR.com. It's so fun. All right, that is the lead lap in the books. We'll move right along. All right, that moves us in to Beyond the Banking. We're going to look at other major forms of motorsports around the world. We'll start with some IMSA action down in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Size. Down in Danville, Virginia International Raceway. I'd like to get down there for an IMSA weekend, actually. We'll talk first about the viral huge crash from Team Corvette. Alex Sims, the number 3 Corvette, got aggressive just 2 minutes into the race of the 2 hour and 40-minute race. 2 minutes in, got super aggressive trying to make a pass on Rexy, driven by Harry King through the S's around 150 miles an hour. Sims ran out of racing room, hit the curb hard, lost the front end, slammed the tire barrier. It looked like that thing, it kind of just went up and spun around the air and came back down. Looked like it was going to go over for a minute. Pretty wild one for IMSA standards, for sure. For any standards, for that matter.
Yeah, Size, I feel like if you went on your back porch, you might have saw him flying by. That was a crazy crash.
Yeah, it was. It was nuts. You don't see that a lot on the IMSA sides.
Ryan Priest would have been proud of that.
He would have, for sure. Unless GTT Pro, FAF Motorsports, Lamborghini, Sandy Mitchell, and Andrea Caldarelli took the win. Back-to-back victories for them. Rough start to the early start of the season. In GTD, the Windward Racing Mercedes of Philip Ellis and Russell Ward captured their 3rd straight win to take the championship lead. Some drama in the top battle for the lead. Tom Gamble, the Aston Martin, basically shoved Philip Ellis off the track in 4, got hit with a penalty incident for responsibility, kind of derailing their race. Also down there was the Mustang Challenge. Of course, Will Lucas picked up his first career win in that one, and the Mazda MX-5 Cup was there as well. Love the Mazda MX-5 Cup, so much fun to watch. But Justin Adiconis picked up his 3rd win of the season. Ended in a bit of controversy. Jared Thomas made the pass for the lead late, but race control ruled that he did it right as a full course yellow came out and forced him to give the spot back to Adiconis and ended up costing him the race. A little controversy in the Mazda one down there at VIR, but looked like a fun one. Yeah, we need to try to get down there for this weekend one of these years. It'd be fun and unique to take in.
I would love that, man. Yeah.
We'll move from there into F1 and the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Back from their summer break. Started out things as a huge shock. Lap 1, the Dutch crowd completely silenced. Lap 1 on a greasy track surface. Max Verstappen in his home track lost the rear, spun to the wall, caused a massive crash. Red flag immediately. Max out of his home race before it even started.
That is not how you're supposed to celebrate a contract extension.
I know, yeah. We saw it. Broke his week. He did, you're right. Yeah, Max announced to re-up this year with Red Bull. A lot of people thought that was not going to happen, but it did. And, yeah, definitely not the way they wanted to celebrate.
No. Left the field wide open, though, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt. And we saw Kimi Antonelli had an incredible restart, jump by Lando Norris, take the lead of the race early. But Lando hunted him back down throughout this one. Used his fresher tires to make a brilliant pass around the outside, and that Tarzan corner reclaimed the lead. Lando goes back-to-back wins for Lando Norris, but capping the summer break with victories. I think Lando's kind of at peak right now. It's going to be see if he can make a late run for this championship. It's kind of looking that way. It looked like Kimi was inevitable, but Norris really coming on here lately.
Yeah, I'm like you, man. I thought Kimi was I thought he was going to lock it up, but I'm not so sure now, man.
Yeah, same here. It'll be fun to watch heading into the last stint of the season. We'll talk about the Mercedes incident. It's one point, speaking of Kimi, George Russell was told, we'll invert the cars this lap. He thought he was faster than Kimi, and I guess the team did not or didn't care as they made him give up that spot to his teammate Antonelli. So some frustration by Russell. I don't know about that situation.
I mean, I wouldn't like it. If I was him,
No.
To be honest, man, I don't like that at all. I don't know. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I mean, we see this sometimes in F1. The team order's a big topic of discussion, but this seemed like a pretty egregious one. So I thought Russell had seemingly, at least in that moment, at least just as much speed as Antonelli. So I don't know. Speaking of Russell, Lewis Hamilton put a ton of pressure on him for third in those closing laps, but it was not to be as Russell had him off. Hamilton ended up fourth. His teammate Carlos Sainz behind him, or his teammate, excuse me, Charles Leclerc. I'm in the past. Charles Leclerc behind him in fifth. But fun little F1 race coming back from their summer break. I like that track there. I like the a few banked curves in that one, create some fun racing moments, and that's where Lando pulled off that huge pass. It was really cool.
Yeah.
We will move from there on to the capital of the United States for D.C. We had, of course, IndyCar there, but before we get to that, we also had the IROC Revival Series there, supporting that IndyCar race. Brought back that legendary IROC series, names like Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Tony Kanaan, Helio Castroneves, huge names there. Ran two 10-lap feature races. Jeff Gordon put on a clinic, sweeping them both. Gordon stalked and passed Castroneves on lap 6 to win race 1. They had a fun little battle. Then they inverted the field, as they will for the second one. Gordon had to start dead last, carved his way through the pack, took the lead from Tony Kanaan lap 5, held off a fierce final lap from Kurt Busch to get the win. Jeff Gordon proving he still got it. What do you think?
That's right. The Rainbow Warrior, rocking in the USA.
Oh,
Jeff Gordon winning the race in the Capitol in 2026. That's cool. And that's a cool thing about racing. I mean, might be a little 10-lap, exhibition, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
I just want to know how in the world that the one episode that Jeff Gordon won 2 races in a week is the one week that we don't have Sean here. Explode about it, man.
Yeah, really. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, fun little
I think
event,
it's really cool, man. I mean, having him out there, Kurt Busch, I mean, come on. That's awesome. Helio, that's awesome. So I dig that, man.
Yeah, Bill Elliott participated. Thought that was super cool.
Yeah. See
awesome Bill out there. Yeah, a fun little event. I mean, yeah, the argument is a real racing, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it's careful real racing, as we saw. Kind of Helio and Jeff put on a pretty good battle. Kurt and Jeff put on a pretty good battle. Like, they're not going to get too crazy, I don't think. But I don't know. I thought it was fun. I mean, we don't need to see this every week or anything, but pretty cool, and especially for, I mean, a historic situation like this up there in D.C.
Yeah, for like a race that's part race, part festival, this is something cool to have open that up.
Yes, I agree with that. You could look at that as on like NASCAR side, maybe before San Diego, if we did the Chicago Street Course again, even potentially like the All-Star Race or the Clash, something like that. You could look at doing something. I don't know, but I think there's room for something like this. I mean, get out to see a lot of your favorite heroes back in a car. Like, people dig that.
Yeah. I'd like to see them do it on the Daytona road course before the 500.
Yeah, I think that would be incredible.
Oh, man. I would love that, actually. I think Size is onto something there.
Hey, we might be getting Speed Weeks back. So
yeah, fill it up.
Yeah,
I think that would be awesome. All right, we'll move over to IndyCar, the Freedom 250, that brand new DC street course, 147 laps, the longest street course race in IndyCar history, actually, to get to that 250 number that they wanted. But
trust me, as a guy who doesn't watch a lot of street courses and road racing, it felt like it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It was Kyle Kirkwood's day for sure, dominating. Absolutely checked out. At one point, had a 15-second lead over second place. Really drove a flawless race. Yeah, what more can you say on Kirkwood? Huge win. And it looked like Palou was going to maybe at one point wrap up the championship heading into this race, but he had a bit of a nightmare day. Got a drive-through penalty. Dropped down, let the pit crew released the car before the left right wheel was on, brought out a full course yellow later. Did not lock it down, still very likely to do that, but Kirkwood put in a chunk on it now. It could get interesting getting into the final three races this IndyCar season.
Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up with a full season of IndyCar, so I'm not, really sure, but I was listening to the announcers because I did watch, the America 250 there, and that wreck by Palou seemed like it was a huge impact on this championship contenders race here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
well, I'll just tell you right now, I didn't watch a second of this race. Didn't even watch 1 second. You want me to tell you why? I'll tell you why. Because I was too tired. I'm going to watch it later. No controversy here. I just watch it. But I'm excited to watch it.
Taking my personal opinion away from any of the surrounding things from the race, and taking my personal opinion away from not watching open-wheeled street courses, it was pretty dang cool to see them racing in the Capitol building in the background. That was a pretty cool shot. Every time they showed that on Fox, that looks pretty cool.
I mean, honestly, how could it not be, right? I mean, that's the thing, man. I mean, regardless, this is just a cool thing. I mean, street races, I'm a fan of street races, and I love when they go to different places. So I'm excited to see the sights of it, man. I mean, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it was a sight to behold now. I definitely agree with that. A spectacle, if you will, but in the best kind of way as far as at least visually speaking. And even the track, it was a pretty unique track. It was quite rough as the bumps and the crosswalks created some interesting situations. We did see quite a bit of crash and caution chaos early in the race. David Malukas clipped the wall in that blind corner 7. Caution kind of didn't get out fast enough. Stingray Rob came flying around the corner, T-bone Malukas. That was pretty vicious, kind of. Late restart, Scott McLaughlin tried a dive bomb on Kirkwood into turn 1. Looked like McLaughlin may have something for him, but he again clipped that inside wall, slammed him outside in the tire barrier. Marcus Armstrong ran up into the back of Christian Rasmussen, who spun into Renus VK ruining his day. So, I mean, it was a wild one. Those guys were... a lot of tank slappers. You get a little loose and slapping off the wall. It was a unique track.
That the last couple of cautions there in the race was probably the most interested I was in the entire race, because I thought there for a second that Lundgaard was going to get a run on the winner there, and it just didn't happen. He would get a little bit of a run, and then it was over. There was no catching him.
Yeah, great run by Lundgaard to finish second, though. They had great strategy and pace all day. Will Power with a third, another podium for him as well. Good to see. I'll give a shout out too to Nolan Siegel. He's looking for a job for next year, but end up with his best ever finish with a 6th place run. So cool to see that as well, I thought.
Good run for the guy who I've never heard of before, but his last name was Simpson, and his number 8 car looked number looked cool on the side of the screen. Good run for that guy.
Kiffin Simpson had a great run. He looked good all day. I thought that was cool as well. We saw kind of some different players up in that top 10 of this one, so that was fun. Made it unique as well. Sounds like we'll be doing it again from what seems to be the word on the street, so I guess we'll No
Are
pun
they going to
intended.
add like an extra mile to make it the America 251 next year?
I could make a lot of jokes that I'm not going to. But, huge weekend of racing all around the globe. We'll look into some short tracking and dirt tracking, though, coming up next. All right, boys, time to get dirty. Let's hit the short tracks. Welcome to the Bullring Report. Had action all across the country this weekend. We're going to start with some high limit series action on their West Coast swing this week. For starting out in Santa Maria, where we saw Aaron Reitzel pick up a win to open up the swing on Thursday night. We saw Corey Day with a wild flip, huge accident. I mentioned that mostly because the Corey Day comeback was in full effect for the rest of the West Coast swing, as Corey Day bounced back, won back-to-back features at Tulare on Friday and Placerville on Saturday. Shout out to Landon Brooks second in both of those races behind Day.
I mean, I guess you're willing to trade a good flip on the car if it means get 2 wins the next 2 nights.
Yeah. Little
yeah, that was a crash.
Yeah, that crash was gnarly. It was really violent. I mean, obviously we see the sprint cars flip a lot, but that one was super violent, a little more than normal. So, first I was glad to see he's okay, and I mean, definitely more than okay, bounced back with 2 big wins. But fun stuff, high limit. I always love a good high limit series race.
Absolutely, man. That's Casey Kane racing all over there because they're over there in the West Coast, and yeah, he didn't have too many good finishes, but it's still cool to see. I was hoping we'd get a Casey Kane Friday, but we did not.
It's always Casey Kane Friday, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, fun stuff for sure. We're moving quicker in the Bullring Report tonight a little than normal, but there's so much to cover, so much big racing this weekend. The famed Battenhausen 100 of the USAC Silver Crowns at that Illinois State Fairground. Got to talk about that. Justin Grant led the first 87 laps before his engine expired, opening the door for Briggs Danner, pounced on that mechanical failure to grab his first career dirt mile win. Got to mention this famed race was actually called 4 laps short. We saw a vicious end-over-end flip by Danny Jennings. There were actually several really vicious incidents in this one, which, I mean, the speed they carry on this 1 mile track is insane. This one a fun one to watch. But anyway, the track had a hard deadline to set the front stretch up for the stage of the front stretch for a concert by the Chicks. So this race had to end 4 laps short.
All right. I'll cut a race 4 laps short for some Natalie Maines.
Yeah, you talk about trade-offs in the high limit. There's a trade-off here in USAC.
Well, they asked the fans what they thought about it, man, and it was a landslide decision. They decided
Didn't. Yeah, fun stuff. I love USAC Silver Crown anywhere on that, but I mean, definitely on this huge dirt track there at that fairground. Go back and watch the highlights if you haven't. It's fun stuff. We'll move in the world of Outlaws side of things, starting with the late model series and I'm going to butcher the name of this track, Makakita. But nonetheless, besides that, we saw the same old story, same old song and dance. Bobby Pierce with the win and finally make that Outlaws history. His 19th win of the season broke the all-time single-season win record previously held in a tie by Josh Richards and Brandon Shepard. Got to mention the huge flip. There's a pile-up. Tyler Erb, Nick Hoffman. Erb was turbo up on upside down for a bit, but he got out and pulled a Dale Earnhardt, said, "Flip it over. I'm going to finish this race," and he did.
Love Tyler, man. The turbo, he's a cool dude, man. That was a cool move, and yeah,
cool moment. I mean, Bobby Pierce, you might get tired of watching him win this year, but man, what a historic season he's having. It's really crazy.
It did crack me up last week. I think I sent you guys that clip of him getting booed by that one crowd. I forget which race it was, but he got into, I can't remember who he got into now either. Gosh, I watched so much racing this week. So I do remember him actually commenting on those. He said, "No, there's 5 people out there booing." I was like, "Yeah, it sounds like more than 5 people." But
Yeah.
either way, man, I mean, I like Pierce.
Yeah, those boos starting to get louder a lot of places for Pierce. And I mean, we've saw it across all types of racing. You win a lot. The fans take a turn on you eventually.
Those are Jimmy Johnson style boos.
Yeah. Yeah, just hold out, Bobby Pierce. We'll look lovingly back on this season in 5 years or something. Move to the sprint car side of World of Outlaws. Sheldon Haudenschild won at Oakville after a massive rain delay, but finally got that one done. And then they were at Jackson Motorplatz, where Logan Schuchart held off Haudenschild and Carson Macedo to get his 3rd victory of the year. Move on to the ARCA series, their one and only dirt race on the schedule. I do love ARCA on dirt. They were that in Springfield, Illinois, the Illinois Fairgrounds, same as the Battenhurst 100 we talked about. But bit of a wild one. Max Reeves with another win, won the Calypso 100, but certainly made more enemies doing it. Gavin Bichelle made a late charge to pass Reeves, but with 3 to go, Reeves passed him back, making heavy contact. Reeves did a burnout. The crowd booed heavily. And you talk about some heavy boos. Now, this crowd was not feeling Mr. Reeves for sure.
The most decibels on the boo scale, according to Mr. Reeves.
Yeah, he did say that.
I would go so far as to say I think that Max Reeves' boos are a little more earned than Bobby.
I mean, you do have like the Nepo baby aspect going on there.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's in a car that's just ultimately better than any ARCA car out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Max is good in context of where he is right now. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes as he goes up the ranks, where he plays out. Because I mean, that ARCA car that he's in is without question above the field, no matter who's behind it. That's not even a knock on Reeves. That's just a factual statement.
Yeah, I mean, he's driving a car that's funded by Joe Gibbs. These other guys are driving cars funded by people with the budget of How Wide and Handsome.
Yeah, at times, yeah, absolutely. That's a fact. And we ain't even got one, so that tells you a lot. But Reeves certainly makes it interesting in the ARCA series, though, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, he's successful, and he does a good job in that car. I mean, maybe anybody could drive that car, but anybody in that car, he is. So
yeah,
he's getting success out of it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how he progresses up through the ranks. He's obviously right, wrong, or the other got funding behind him. So I mean, I do think we'll see him move up, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm not going to say anything bad about him just because I want his dad to sponsor us and give us all free cookout trays.
Yes, I want that as well. I'll say whatever.
I'll just say that, I mean, the sport always needs good villains, and I mean, maybe he can fill that role, regardless of how you feel about him. Either way, maybe he could be a good villain for us. So we shall see. That
we certainly shall. We'll move off of the dirt on back onto some asphalt. We'll start with apparently a couple years ago, Kyle Busch had an idea to have a huge Legends car race at Bowman Gray Stadium. That ideal came to fruition, unfortunately, after Kyle's passed, but the Kyle Busch Invitational was created. Huge Legends car race at Bowman Gray. We saw Samantha Brexton there kicking things off. Brexton actually in the race, won his heat race in this one, but Preston Risley ended up leading all 30 laps of the feature to win. But a really cool event for a good cause, and cool to see an ideal that was in formation with Kyle before his tragic passing to come to fruition. And I mean, I'm all for a huge Legends car race at Bowman Gray. Actually, I hope this becomes a yearly thing, and I would like to go to it one of these years if so.
That's what I was just sitting here thinking. I was like, if they do this again, we should try to go, man.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch the race, but I've seen still pictures and stuff from it. It looks like a good crowd. Looks like everybody there was having a good time, and honoring a guy who meant a lot to race fans. And having just a little fun race out there. And those legend cars are just awesome to watch.
Yeah.
And cool to give the all those Legends guys like a big platform. It's a big race for them. I saw there were some guys come from the West Coast like wanted to be part of this. So it hopefully it turns into like a premier event for Legends cars drivers. And
the Kyle Samantha Bush Foundation, whatever that is, I'm sure it raised some good money for that. And I always love to see racing supporting a good cause.
Yeah, no doubt. And it did. Excuse me. From there, the famed, we all were at New Hampshire, so we had the Wheel and Modified series on track always. We're at New Hampshire. Man, this race was pretty wild. Everyone beating and banging, dramatic finish as well, but John McKennedy, dramatic last lap pass on Tommy Catalano to get the win. Prix right there mixed up in the finish of this thing too, ended up third. McKendy's car actually ran out of fuel there at the end of that as well.
Yeah, I love his post-race interview too, man. He's blue collar. I just loved it, man. But I thought this race was awesome. I did get the chance to watch every lap of this, and like you said, Priest up there mixing it up at the end. Ryan Newman in this race. Didn't really see a lot of Ryan Newman. He kind of just ran towards the back most of the day, but just a fun race, man. Love the Wheel and Modified series.
Yeah, for sure. Super fun. Love they get their big race here at the New Hampshire is always kind of a big one for them, and it's always fun to watch them there for that Cup weekend. And usually seems like there ends up being a couple guys run at Priest. Certainly that. I mean, that's where he came from. So glad to see he dropped down and run. They ain't got a great run out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There was tons more racing. We'll close out with just touching on a few little things before we go. Flow Racing Night in America, they had a double feature of that. I love when they do those. Bobby Pierce got the win at Marshalltown, Hudson O'Neill the next night in Mason City. A couple really fun races there. Southern Nationals end up with Zach Mitchell, his third straight series event. I'm not sure the story of this one. I think this might have been a makeup race for the race that didn't happen up at Wythe, actually, because this one a little late for Southern Nationals schedule. I don't know that. I could be wrong. But, New Hampshire also, that little dirt track there by the track had the dirt duels. You can catch that on Flow's Fun. And gotta mention, man, that race for the Million Series, the 410 sprint cars on pavement. They had their championship race at that Colorado track where we saw Cars Tour West run a bit back. Aaron Willison got the win and the championship of that series. So huge payday. I think $40,000 to win that championship. I think it was $1 million overall. The purse for the championship and the races was how they got the million. But that's been a fun, wild series to watch this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, that's going to do it for a jam-packed Bullring report. All right, time to dial it down. We enter the cool-down lap. Started at the beginning. Now we are near the end. We're going to look back one more time, though, before we move along, as we'll look for our scheme of the week. Your favorite paint scheme from any car, any track, any race over the past week is fair game. So we'll jump right into that scheme of the week. Jeff, we'll start with you.
All right. It may be a little bit of a surprise because I'm going to say Austin Hill. And I just put that Zone Sweet Coffee paint scheme. Would have loved to have saw the number 8 on that, but circumstances, of course, didn't allow. Either way, that car looked really cool. Love the Zone schemes always. They're some of my favorites, and I thought this one looked really cool.
Yeah, nice looking zone right there for sure. Size, what about you?
I'm going to go with the Cup Series as well with Chase Briscoe and the Joe Gibbs number 19 Zep car. I like the coloring on that. It kind of gave me like a old school Bud Moore, early years of RCR, Dale Earnhardt vibes with the blue and the yellow. Just thought that was a real cool looking car.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love that one as well. I'm going to give it to Spire Motorsports and Carson Hocevar's number 77 Moto Casino Chevy. That pink special had the big lips on the front. Now, it had an interesting day on the track, but it was a cool looking car, I thought. And let us know your favorite scheme of the week in the comments.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the with all those spins, I bet those lips weren't the only thing that's puckered on that car.
I'd say you are right, for sure. Our cohort Sean did send in his scheme of the week. He gave it to Trackhouse Racing and Connor Zillich's 88. That what a save file. I've lost the sponsor now, but it was kind of a new take. We saw that scheme on SVG's car, but they brightened it up a wheel, added in a lot more of that neon yellow. It was a cool looking car.
Well, I heard one of the announcers mention it yesterday, but when him and SVG were running beside each other, it's like, that's a spotter's nightmare.
Yeah,
absolutely. Those cars were so similar.
They both
there was times in the race I couldn't tell which one was which.
Yeah.
Same for the Collin cars. That Campers Inn, I think, was the sponsor. Both of those cars were painted literally identical. They were decent looking cars, but that's got to be tough for a spotter.
Absolutely.
I had all the ones you all mentioned on my list as well. I also had Bubba Wallace's Sincoro Tequila Toyota. I thought that was a very sleek kind of looking car.
That was my second one. If either one of y'all had taken the Zeppelin, I like that kind of like it was like the black and gold and a checkerboard looking thing on the back fender there.
Yeah. I thought that thing was sweet looking.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was Bubba Wallace's first alcohol sponsor ever.
Didn't realize that.
I saw post that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
it is. Front rows, Zane Smith's 38 Imagine 360 Ford. I don't know exactly what Imagine 360 is, but they had some cool looking colors on that car.
A runner-up I had was actually Ryan Priest's Mohawk, but not, I mean, the Cup one always, that's a permanent favorite for me. But I'm actually going to go with his mod from that race the other day. I thought the little bit of change up in color scheme on with the Mohawk, I thought it looked really rad out there, man.
Yeah, that was a cool one. I like that also. Last one I got on my list, Legacy Motor Club's John Hunter's Dollar Tree. They switched it to number 40 for this race for his 40th anniversary. Had a special like green and gold kind of anniversary type scheme. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that one looked really cool too, man.
A lot of good schemes. I mean, IndyCar had a lot of good schemes, a lot of patriotic schemes, which I mean, I'm not against, but I feel burnt out on patriotic schemes this year, to be honest. We've had so many.
I feel like it's been all summer.
Yeah. And both sides. I mean, in NASCAR a lot, but IndyCar's had their own too, leading up to even before this. Now we'll look a little into the future as we are headed to that Cup Series regular season finale under the lights at Daytona. Going to be a fun one, and we're going to try to predict the winner of that thing, which is dang near impossible to do at Daytona, if not anywhere, but we're going to try it nonetheless. Predict your winner for Saturday night under the lights at Daytona. Size, we'll start with you.
All right, well, we've not seen this guy have a lot of success there, but we've seen this manufacturer have a lot of success there. Ryan Priest wins Daytona, gets himself into the chase.
Wow, okay, bold claim, big moves for Priest. Jeff, what you thinking?
No, sorry, I was just praying that Size was right.
Well, you know it's not going to happen now that I predicted it.
Well, unfortunately, that's not what I'm predicting, but I am going to predict maybe a little bit of a wild card, but I've got a feeling, and you guys know I get these feelings from time to time. Zane Smith.
Oh, okay. I like that. That team been showing some promise. Could happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay on the momentum train. Goes back to back with another win. Ryan Blaney gets another one in Daytona.
I like that pick.
Yeah.
And
some Ford guys again this week.
Yeah, drop your pick for your winner at Daytona in the comments. Sean did send his in as well. He gave it to William Byron in Daytona. Which
he didn't pick a Ford. We're not counting what he says.
Gonna be fun. Love under the lights at Daytona.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. This is one of the ones I'm really most looking forward to, and the added drama with the cutoff on the chase. Yeah. It's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah, and we get O'Reilly Series back. Feels like it's been a while. 2 week break.
Find half of those guys probably they're on vacation somewhere.
I'm going to go on record and saying I don't like a week break in the O'Reilly series. 1 week breaks, fine with, love them. Give them as many 1 week breaks as you want. 2 week breaks, I think you lose non-diehard fans that long. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I don't love it either. I think it's a little too much.
I mean, I get annoyed with the breaks the truck series takes. Yeah. I mean, I want all 3 series every weekend, though. I'm just being greedy, I guess.
Well, I mean, I understand you're not going to run as many races with the lower series, but, split up the breaks. Give them another 1 week break somewhere else in the season.
Yeah, I don't like the back-to-back in either series, just hitting the truck side, especially earlier in the season. But, yeah, I think that could be adjusted for sure. All right. Been a good one. We'll remind you, like this video here on YouTube, subscribe right here to the ARCA Brothers Network on YouTube, of course, the home of us, High, Wide, and Handsome, but a lot of other shows. Got a cool video, should be coming later this week. I don't want to give too much away, but and a lot of stuff coming up here on the YouTube channel. And of course, check out High, Wide, and Handsome on the socials, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Clips of the show and other cool stuff there. Parent company, if you will, ARCA Brothers Entertainment. Check them out on the socials, of course, as well. Been a good one. We'll be back next week, whether you want us to or not.
Well, we're not going to take a 2 week break. Oh wait, we already took a 2 week break.
Yeah,
well, we did do that. That's true. But we haven't had little ones in between, so maybe there's. Well, we're here for at least through the rest of the chase. We'll say that.
That's right.
All right. With that, we'll sign off and we'll say good night and good luck.